So I think I've done myself a disservice by not talking about the things I do, especially in depth. People see my Instagram posts, they see what I post as far as photo and visuals, but I haven't let them into like the fourth wall a little bit, right? Like I don't communicate that very well. And that's the issue I've always had. Is like I feel sometimes like the thoughts I have in my mind, even though they're very detailed and very thoughtful, I don't let people into them for whatever reason. And that probably has a lot to do with trauma, which is a whole nother talk, but it's easier of me not to overwhelm somebody than take layer by layer out and have that communication and have that discussion. And that's what I'm hoping to do with this is have that discussion, even if it's for only me, that I get to talk about these things. One of the things I did in 2025 was a thing called Main Street Hymns. I took the same route so many photo walks and so many beginner photographers take. And it ended up becoming this very much a horizontal relationship with the camera and downtown. And that's it. There's nothing else besides them looking forward, them looking at the metro line or a car or whatever. And one of the things I did differently for the last probably like 6 months was something super simple. This is how complicated it gets. Just looking up. Literally up. When you start seeing the layers of buildings that are glass and the brick, then the sky, and all the things that you can create within a moment in time, those opportunities, especially downtown Houston, become limitless because you're able to do so much when you have a vision behind that. And that's why I started doing this since last summer. Like there is a building downtown that I love. It's across street from Finn Hall, and it is also coffee downtown in Houston. You got 3 spots to go to. You have Fifth Vessel, which is the most northern part of downtown. You have Three Keys, and you also have Prelude. The building I'm talking about is where Prelude's inside, so that's one of my coffee stops when I'm down there. But the building is this new, beautiful glass structure. It has a lot of straight lines, but within those straight lines, there's some even like dimension to that. Like there is literally like a section that's like almost like a half moon pushed in, but it's very straight lined at the same time. And I passed by it so many times, and there was one time there's this old photographer. I got around the corner. He's like, "Dude, since you have a camera, did you see the reflections?" I'm like, "What reflections?" And he took me to this little area that's indented, and he's like, "Look at this angle." When you look at that angle, there's at least about 6 or 7 reflections within this little area of the buildings across the street, the sky, and it's just this beautiful, chaotic mess. But then he's like, dude, add this filter to your camera, then check it out again. The polarizing filter. So what happens is that polarizing filter kind of limits some of the reflection off the glass. And when you do that, you also see these lines of, I think it's wood inside. So you have these reflections, but then you have these lines, and it creates this beautiful, gigantic mess of layers. Then you have these layers of reflection on there, and it's these lines, and it's just beautiful. And very much like my thoughts, it's like that. There's layers there that it's hard for me to talk about without feeling overwhelmed, and that's where hopefully doing stuff like this will peel back those layers so people kind of get a better maybe understanding and knowing me. Like, I didn't realize that I did this a lot as far as protecting and not wanting to overwhelm people with my thoughts until this last December. Like, I ended up meeting and hanging out with one of my friends who owns a coffee shop, and we started talking about hospitality and small details. And I was listening to him, and my wife kind of like started talking about some of the stuff that I've done and the reason why I did that. And it's one of the things that I didn't realize until then, that I never really talked a lot about a lot of my whys and how I got from point A to point B in that whole process. And it's just like, and I still feel the same when I talk about my photography artists. I don't talk a lot about my whys. And I feel like starting this, whatever this becomes or I'm doing, that this will maybe help that out. I guess if you want to call this process Muse episode 1, great. I'm hoping to talk more about that and maybe bring other people on the journey. But for that, I had a goal to stay with under 7 minutes, and that's part of my goal with this. And this is it.